Bliss, bliss, bliss. We're kicking it old school today with a reading from my phone. So let me know how y'all are feeling. I'm going to send a little sage out to everyone. It is definitely a week that is needing some cleansing, and we're going to get a lot of that this week. So I just wanted to bring the sage out. How is everybody feeling? I am super excited to get on live today. I am in transition right now, so I really don't know exactly how my set will look in the next couple of weeks. I may be in a completely different place. I may be still here. We will see. We are going to talk a lot about how this also ties into the energy of this week. And I'm super excited to chat with all of you. So as you join, please let me know where you're joining from. Let me know how you're feeling today. And today we're going to be covering the spirit messages and intuitive messages of the 11th of July, which is today, all the way until July 18th next week. And so we've got a lot to cover. We're also integrating the Cancer new moon from Friday night, from the 9th. And so this is going to be a really powerful energy to discuss. Now, I know last week we talked a lot about, just kind of cultivating your 5D self, right? And the need to really honor the ways in which that is coming up, right? Honoring the ways that we're called to release things, to make room for more, honoring the ways in which we are stepping into more by honoring our true authenticity, and also allowing ourselves to connect deeper to our compassion and wisdom as we cultivate that 5D self. Now, I also talked about the cards of the week. We pulled cards throughout, which is really fun. This is a new thing that we're doing with these readings where I'm pulling cards as I go, as I talk about the spirit messages. So we pulled tons of cards last week. And this is a really fun new way to tap in even deeper to the messages that I download from my meditations and the readings that I do and all of the mass collective energy that I pick up on. And so just a real quick review of last week. We had the focus card in the beginning of the week, encouraging us to focus on what we wanted, what we needed, so that we could really intend for all that we desire. And then the penguin card in the middle of the week last week, telling us to be authentic to ourselves so that we can really step forward into more of our true path. And then the end of the week card, which we're still feeling a bit of today, Queen of Heaven, really energizing ourselves with compassion and wisdom and letting that take us higher and higher and higher in our vibration. All right. So again, let me know how you're doing, where you're tuning in from. Thank you so much for your support and tuning in, even though it's a different set and a different vibe today. But I will be getting my set up and running as soon as possible. So bear with me on that. But I also have some pretty fun announcements at the end of this reading. So definitely stick around to the end because there's a lot of things I want to share with you that's really exciting for today as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into the spirit messages. As I discuss these spiritual messages that I received, I am going to be pulling cards as I go. I've got all my decks in front of me. I also got a new deck recently, so I'm super excited to share that with all of you. And all right, are you ready? Is everybody ready? Because I'm so excited for this. Hi, Candace. Good to see you. Hi, Jasmine. Good to see you. All right. So first message is something that we already have talked about a little bit, and it's the message of staying connected. And that's the message for July. If you remember my annual card reading in the beginning of the year, I pull a card for every single month. And the card for July of this year was stay connected. Now, the importance of staying connected is so, so, so crucial right now. And we know this, and it makes total sense because if we've been really paying attention to the way the energy has progressed throughout this year, you know that as we have seen so much disclosure, so much change, so much transition, so much energy revealed, that is causing us to have to really make clear decisions on where we are meant to go, based on where we are meant to go, right? So, of course, staying connected is crucial because if we're not connected to source and spirit, our higher selves, our intuition, we're not going to be able to see the signs of really stepping into the right path. There's so much moving energy going on. There's so many things transitioning, right? And if we're not taking the time to connect to ourselves, connect to our spirit, connect to our heart, and really intuit what to do in every moment, then we may lose our way. Okay? Because there is so much of this energy going on, and it's complex energy, and it can be confusing sometimes. So take your time. Take your time, be patient. You don't have to make a decision right away. You can allow spirit to show you what step to take next. And in fact, that's how we've been really taught from spirit, right? The ability to really open up and surrender to spirit's plan for us, knowing that it knows more than we could ever fathom to know from this perspective. And so when we step into that unknowing and we surrender to the knowing of spirit, we actually get the guidance and the clarity that we've been seeking. It's when we try to force or focus on creating solutions that are not intuitive that we become confused and conflicted and distracted from our path. Okay? So Spirit wanted me to ask you all a question, and I'll ask you this as I pull some cards. They want me to use the Angels of Atlantis today for this one. So Spirit wanted me to ask you, how do you stay connected? How do you stay connected? Not how do you stay connected in general, but how do you personally stay connected to spirit? What are the activities, perspectives, and behaviors, even emotions, thoughts that really give you that sensation of connectedness to spirit and to your intuition? Maybe write this down. And I encourage every single weekly reading that I do, I encourage you to bring a notebook, a virtual notebook or a physical notebook with you, because there are going to be notes that will be important to take, things that will just jump out at you or hit your heart center and says, yes, I need to remember this. And I encourage you to write it down, because when you do, you not only integrate it into your notebook so you can go back and look later, but you also integrate it into your subconscious by writing it out. Our hands go right into our heart space, from the pen into our heart, from our heart into the pen. Okay, so we really honor that process. So write down maybe, how do you personally stay connected to your spirit? And then ask yourself, where is the resistance to that? And why? Have you been connecting like that? Have you been using those activities, those thoughts, those emotions to connect? Or do you just know this information, but you're not applying it? Right? And trust me when I say it's something that we all have to work on consistently. This is not something that is just easy and effortless for everyone, or for the people who teach it, or for the people who share these messages. No, it's hard for us too. We have to stay consistent. We have to stay disciplined. And so ask yourself, what am I not being disciplined on that is keeping me from staying connected to my spirit? Why is there resistance there? Okay. Ooh, forgiveness. Spirit is saying a lot of you have resistance in connecting because you haven't forgiven yourself or others or an experience for what it has put you through. And because of that, you're holding on to resentments. You're maybe even holding on to guilt or blame or shame, which is keeping you from feeling worthy to connect and keeping you from doing the work to connect. But I'm here to tell you, you are worth it. And the experience that you're having and the healing moments that you're going through, growing through, glowing through, are there for a reason. And they're there to help you open up to more forgiveness so you can get more connected to yourself and your spirit. If you're not forgiving something, there's a block. There's resentment, there's anger, there's frustration. And it's surfacing to show you that so that you can do the work to forgive and clear that energy so you can connect. You know, we really often do connect through either our heart or our crown chakra, right? Especially when it comes to higher vibrational or higher consciousness. It's often crown chakra or any of the upper chakras, right? And so when we feel into the upper chakras, we recognize the mind being a big part of that, right? If we are clouded with thoughts of blame, shame, frustration, anger, and that's all we're thinking about, we're clouding our third eye and our crown with that energy. And it's not allowing us to feel clear and to see or feel or sense a clear message. Okay? Same thing with our heart. If we're holding on to resentment, if we're holding on to pain, if we're holding on to suffering, if we're holding on to victimhood, if we're holding on to just trauma, it clouds up our heart, which is another part of us that connects deeply to spirit. So that clouding, that blockage in the heart is keeping us from connecting. So we have to what? We have to forgive so that we can be released from that blockage. The forgiveness is not for the person you're forgiving. It's for the person who is doing the forgiving, because it sets us free. Okay? So forgive whatever you haven't forgiven so that you can have the clarity. Okay? And so that you can stay connected. And check in with yourself regularly on this, because there's so much going on right now in the world that needs forgiveness. And there's so many things going on in our life that is calling on that, or that may require that in order for you to get clear on what to do next in that experience, okay? Powerful stuff. So how do you stay connected? Where is the resistance to that, and why? Where are you not forgiving? And where is that creating blockages in your ability to clearly sense your intuition, your spiritual connection, or to just clearly feel motivated to do the work to connect, right? So if you're holding yourselves in feelings of unworthiness, or just feelings of defeat, right? Or feelings of frustration, then of course you're not going to have the motivation to connect, because you're blocked with all that energy. So you got to clear that. Now, a part of that is it leads into the second message, which is humble pie. Now, I looked up the word humility or humble in the dictionary, and I didn't really love any of the definitions except for the extended definition that I found, which was modest and unpretentious. The other definitions in our society, according to the dictionary, really revolve around downgrading your level of importance. And I didn't like that, because I don't feel like that's what humility or true pure humility is. I think that might be more of a matrix version of humility and humbleness, right? But the 5D version of humbleness is to not disempower you or to make you feel less important. It's to just be modest and unpretentious, which really means to not assume that you know it all or that you have it all figured out, right? Because when we get into this place of having it all figured out or thinking we know it all and we don't need anybody else to tell us what it is, including our spirit or our guides, then we really get wrapped up in this ego, right? That can be dangerous, and it can also create a distraction or a divergence from our path, because we're not taking the humble pie. And so we're telling spirit, well, we know better than you, spirit. Guides, we've got this under control. We can do this better than you. We can handle this more efficiently than spirit can, right? That's what we're really saying when we try to control or try to assume that we don't need to stay connected to have a solution to a situation or to find our way, right? And what a slap in the face to spirit that is, right? Because we just talked about how spirit can see what's happening beyond our perception. So how dare we say that we have it all figured out, or that we're, pretentious enough to say that when we're going through something that we need connection on, that we need guidance on, that we need clarity on. So the most beautiful thing we can do this week through our changes and experiences is to take a little piece of that humble pie, eat it on up, okay? Because we don't have it all figured out. We don't know everything. We may think we know a lot, but we don't know it all. And in order for us to see clearly, we have to let ourselves be humbled, and we have to honor, okay, I don't know the answer. I don't know, but that's okay. Because by saying I don't know, I open up to the knowing, right? And then spirit flows in and fulfills us with that knowing that we've sought and sought after. Okay? So take a bit of the humble pie, because that humble pie may not taste good at first because you've been really wrapping your head or your mind or your actions or your emotions around this focused idea of what is or what is going to be. You've planned it all out. You've got it all figured out. You've had it all ready. You know, you've manifested the blueprint and you just know it's going to be exactly how you said it's going to be, right? But realistically, it's not. It's not going to be that. There's going to be a lot of changes in your plan. There's going to be a lot of things that you thought you knew that you actually don't. There's going to be a lot of experiences that you thought you were going to manifest or prepare for that actually Spirit has a different plan, a better plan, always a better plan. So it's when you surrender to Source's plan, when you say, I want only what Source wants for me. That is the piece of humble pie that can really give you a completely new experience. I love the rain right now, by the way. That can give you a completely new experience and that allows you to actually see the beauty and the benefit of being humble. Because once you actually take that first step and saying, you know what, Source, I don't have it all figured out. I don't know the best plan for me right now. I surrender to yours though, because I know you know what's best for me because you have all the info, right? Once you say that, then Source takes over and Source is like, okay, cool. Let's do it then. And it starts taking you to all these different experiences that you never even thought about having that are so amazing, exciting, and liberating. Maybe challenging as well, but for a necessary reason to strengthen you and to give you the wisdom that you need, right? And then you end up taking more and more humble pie because every step that you're taking from that point forward is Source's steps, guided steps by Source, guided steps by God, guided steps by your angels, however you want to call it. It's all the same. It's all divine. And you're in those guided steps and then you're taking that humble pie every day because you're like, okay, I didn't know this was the plan either. Okay, cool. I follow it. I trust it, right? So we're honoring that. We're being unpretentious. We're being modest to Spirit and to our higher selves because this is how we are going to get through the spiritual war and how we're going to be able to make the right decisions to survive it energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Okay? We've gotten this card a lot. Past lives. Some of you have had past lives where you've been very pretentious. Some of you have had past lives where you've not taken any humble pie. Some of you feel really uncomfortable being humbled. And some of you, it's your lesson to learn that this life in a big way. So find out where you are resistant to being humbled and why. Maybe it's a past life energy. And maybe you may be even uncomfortable with being humble or modest because maybe you've had some past lives where you were super modest, where you didn't have anything under your belt. You had nothing to show for yourself. Maybe you were very impoverished in a past life. Maybe you were the most humbled, the most modest, the least pretentious. And maybe that's why it can be uncomfortable to be humbled because it's just like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. But guess what? We have to for Spirit because Spirit has our highest good in mind. Okay? And we don't have to be humbled or modest to everything, but to Spirit and to our higher selves and to our intuition, especially right now when it's literally life or death oftentimes in the decisions we're making right now, right? And the intuitive guidance. You know, we had that horrible Miami condo collapse. You know, our intuition is our strongest survival skill. I don't know enough of the stories, the personal stories, but I guarantee you, if you're in some place like that and the building is crumbling, you're going to intuitively feel like something's off. You're going to maybe see that crack and you're going to say, that's off. Something doesn't feel right. Or maybe you get the intuition suddenly to leave your apartment, spend the night at a friend's just for a night, or you just happen to because you felt like you were supposed to, right? And maybe you kind of escape a certain tragedy because of it, right? And this is not to say that this is always going to be that way because some endings are very much fated, right? But we can really heighten our chances of not getting caught up in unfated experiences when we trust our intuition, when we take the humble pie and follow it, and when we stay connected in that way and honor where we were before, that shows us more wisdom to do so, right? All right, next message. How y'all liking these messages so far? How y'all feeling? I'm seeing all you in here. Nico's here. Jasmine's here. Bobby Bell. Simple Goddess. I'm doing well, Jasmine. Thanks for asking. All right. Oops. I don't know how to get rid of the message. Oh, there we go. Oh, cool. I just like touched this though, and now I can't get the little chat from off my screen, which is kind of weird. But that's okay, y'all. I'm just going to leave it. I can't really see myself though. Maybe it'll go away on its own. All right, next message. Next message of the week. Oh, it did go away on its own. Perfect. Next message of the week is be prepared and don't get deceived. Don't get deceived. We're in a time right now where there are so many narratives and agendas and plans from those who are in control of certain systems, certain kind of organizations, certain empires, really, in this world, entities in this world. And these people are putting out a lot of energy. They're taking out a lot of time, energy, and money to support a very specific narrative to their highest good, but not necessarily to the masses' highest good. So we need to be prepared, A, for recognizing the true colors of things that we maybe thought were one way, but are way, way, way opposite. And these are going to be things that we don't even know right now. These are going to be surprises to everyone. These are going to be things that really are mind-blowing. And it's going to be really hard for us to wrap our minds around it. And in fact, we're already seeing it. There's so much cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is this strong stubbornness to hold on to what you think you know, even though there's tons of evidence outside of that supporting a different perspective. Simply, you're holding on to it out of discomfort and letting go of what you've thought you've known your whole life, right? And so there's this stubbornness and this resistance and this even sometimes aggressiveness against other perspectives. Cognitive dissonance, okay, look it up. We need to recognize that this is something that's already occurring. And many of us have been facing our own cognitive dissonance and doing the work to push past it and to see other perspectives and to learn more information despite what we thought we knew. We're taking that humble pie well, and we're staying connected to our intuition and feeling the truth in our heart so that we can really continue to put the pieces together. But then some of us are not doing that. We're actually pushing the truth away even more. We're setting ourselves into deeper depths of illusion and deception and delusion. And when we choose to surrender to an illusion instead of face an uncomfortable truth, we end up really getting deceived and distracted off our path. And we end up feeling that disconnection deeply and not knowing how to find our way back. Okay? So some of this is happening to some of you. Some of you are learning new information, but you're really resistant to it. Some of you are feeling new truths being revealed in others or experiences or even within yourself, but you're fighting it. You're trying to pretend like you don't see it or feel it or sense it. You're trying to pretend like, oh, that's not real. That's not going to happen, or that's not the truth. But you feel it, and you're getting signs that tell you that's the truth, but you're still resisting it. That's cognitive dissonance, and it's important for us. It's also intuitive dissonance, to be honest, right? And so we want to recognize where we're having that intuitive or cognitive dissonance, and we want to, instead of surrendering to the illusion and delusion, we need to face the truth and trust what we feel, what we sense, and what we know. What we know in our heart and what we can't seem to ignore. Something our spirit is showing us that won't let us ignore, okay? I'm going really slow with these messages, but it's important. So thank you for being patient, everyone. Now, with that being said, we have to be prepared for more of this. more information, more truth revealed, more energy being seen that we didn't expect to see. And we have to move accordingly. We cannot tolerate staying in a place where we are not aligned. We just can't do it. Because if we do, we are choosing the illusion and thus choosing the disconnection. Okay? Now, I think what is most important about this is to honor that when we see something that is not in alignment, or when we get information that is showing us a deeper truth than what we thought we knew, I think the most important thing is to really take the opportunity to integrate it, feel into it, and to see the big picture. Look at that information and look at how you have been evidence of it, how your life has been evidence of it, how things you've experienced have backed up whatever you're now newly perceiving. Because that will help you reduce the cognitive dissonance, because you'll have more of a in-person and a more personal experience with that information, and it will make you feel more aligned to the truth of it instead of fighting it because of a conditioning that you've been brought up in, okay? Now, what Spirit is wanting us to do with this is to seek out the truth. Seek out the illusions, because we all have them in our lives right now. That's what Spirit's saying. We all have an illusion or delusion within us or around us right now. And it's important for us to look for it, seek it out, to really investigate, to be the detective, the illusion detective or the delusion detective of our life. Where are we surrendering to illusions? Where are we surrendering to delusions? And seek it out so that we can really, really face that and bring truth to it instead. Because the delusions and illusions are what is keeping us off our path. And that's why so many of us, you, whoever it is that's feeling the resonance of this message, that's why you're feeling lost, confused, unsure, disconnected, okay? So seek. It says the power of Spirit exists in all things. Everything is made of energy, and every single thing in your physical world contains a fragment of Spirit, including you. We are all one with Spirit and will always be connected to one another. So stay connected, and as you stay connected, you are going to find those illusions and deceptions, and you're going to be able to clear them because of your connection and because of your desire to stay connected. Next message, you are divinely protected. So if you've been feeling an illusion or delusion of an experience, of an environment, of a relationship, of an experience in your life, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a little scary to let go of this illusion. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking to release this delusion. It's going to feel a little unsafe or insecure. I don't know what to land on. I don't know what truth to feel supported by. I don't know what my foundation of truth is anymore. It is scary, but you're divinely protected. Why? Because Spirit was the energy, source, God was the energy that whispered that truth into your heart in the first place, that told you to follow a truth, even if it was uncomfortable, even though it felt opposite to what you've always thought you've known. And that fact that you have followed that shows Spirit that you trust it. And thus Spirit stays deeply protective over you. And that's what is so powerful. And we see the protection the more that we lean into it. The rain is getting intense, so let me know if y'all can still hear me. But we see the protection the more we lean into the new perceptions that Spirit gives us, okay? I really honor this because we're going through a spiritual war as the rain gets louder, right? As the drops get harder on the ceiling. Spiritual war. We are divinely protected though. We're indoors within our own spirit. within our own hearts. So we don't have to be afraid. We do not have to be afraid of any of the changes that we're being guided to make. Can you still hear me? It's gotten really loud now. Thank you, Machiavelli. So the card that Spirit gave us for this is inner integration. It says there is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. Can y'all hear me? Because if not, I might have to go somewhere else. It's pretty loud. Let me know if you can hear me before I keep going, because I don't want to miss anything. Perfect. Thank you guys. So inner integration. What this really is telling us is that we need to promise ourselves that we have peace and balance and fulfillment in our own inner warrior, our wild aspects of self. And the way that we are able to move through the tempering effect that life has on with our inner wild, with our inner energy of divine kind of warrior-like spirit. That inner wild essence, our wild and free nature, our wildly passionate nature, our wildly strong nature is already balanced to attune and harmonize with the hardships of life. But sometimes we cower instead of rise up in that warrior or wild essence. And it's important that we don't cower or shield ourselves or get scared, right? But instead remember we're divinely protected and that we have a wild essence within ourselves that is meant for this challenge, that is meant to overcome, that is meant to be resilient, and that is ready to meet these tempering aspects of life. Okay? Beautiful message there. So you are divinely protected, and I love how Spirit showed up with that message to just bring that in so deeply, right? Next message is stand in your power. This is the non-tolerance energy. Remember we got a non-tolerance policy from Spirit last week? Now that no tolerance policy from Spirit has integrated into us, and now we are being forced to be no longer tolerant of things in our own life, with others, with environments, with experiences, with our own aspects of self that are holding us back. We can no longer tolerate it because Spirit has not tolerated it from us, and therefore we cannot tolerate it from anyone else or ourselves. Okay? So no tolerance policy that really holds us to standing in our power. There is a non-negotiable in standing in our power right now. If there is any place in your life or any experience within yourself that you are feeling disempowered in, or oppressed in, or unheard, unseen, unvalidated in, guess what? It's time to stand in your power. Non-negotiably. Okay? Stand your ground. Ground yourself. Ground yourself into that power through action, through embodiment. Do not just say it or imagine it, but stand in your power. Ground into your power. Act on your power. Being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient are all signs that you're ungrounded. Now is the time to become centered and allow Spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect to the divine source. I mean, literally, Spirit's just like, stay connected, stay connected, stay connected, stay connected. Ground yourself, stay connected. Okay, so if you're feeling distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient, that means that you're not grounded into yourself or into your power. If you're feeling confident, certain, kind of purposeful and rooted, supported, stable, secure, then you're grounded. But if you're not, ask yourself why and where that energy is showing up so that you can face it and find ways to stand in your power in those experiences, relationships, environments, or self-perceptions. Okay? Beautiful energy. How's everybody feeling? Now, I love that the ground yourself card comes right before my next message, which is walking on air. It feels a little bit like that when we have a tower moment. A lot of us have had tower moments last week. It was the astrological influences. We have so many retrogrades happening, and we actually have a couple more retrogrades to add to the mix this week. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But this energy of walking on air, it can feel really scary, right? It can feel really weird, even walking on water, right? I think it was Paul who walked on water in the Bible and then fell in because he started to doubt or got a little nervous, noticing that he was doing it, right? It can feel like that. It can feel like, what do we have to actually stand on now that everything is shifted in our life into an unexpected change, like that Jupiter retrograde created unexpected changes that we were not perceiving or expecting, right? And these unexpected changes don't really feel good at first, but they're leading us to something greater. And so with that retrograde, the Jupiter retrograde, we are feeling like we're kind of walking on air, walking on water. We don't have anything to walk on. It kind of feels like uncomfortable, unstable, unsure if we're going to actually be able to keep walking on that, right? But we're not just walking on air or water. We're actually walking on, just like Paul, we're actually walking on faith, trust, intention, and hope. That's what we're walking on. And those aspects of self and energies can only be as stable as the energy you put into them. So if you haven't put a lot of energy into trust, faith, hope, or intention, then you're going to feel like you're falling through the surface. You're going to feel like you're falling. But if you've put enough energy into trust, faith, hope, and intention, you've put enough belief and enough active vibration into it, active embodiment into it, then you're going to feel a lot more stable than most. Even though it's air and water that we're walking on, it's going to feel a lot more stable if you put the energy into your trust and faith. And how do you do that? You pray more. You surrender more. You relax into experience more. You accept what is. And you intend for what you desire, while also knowing that Source has a true intention for you and a true plan for you that is the best for you, right? So walk on that. Walk on your faith, your trust, your hope, your desire. I'm going to pull... I'm going to do some healing with the angels on this one, y'all. Because it is a healing experience. A lot of us are going through deep healing. We talked about this a week ago as well. That was going to be a healing week. That was not going to be a comfortable week. And how was it for you all? Was it comfortable? Was it easy? If it was, good. But don't get too comfortable. Be prepared. Don't get deceived, because you may not have a comfortable week soon, as you face these delusions and illusions and start to ask Source for the truth of everything and start to surrender to it, because then the truth will be revealed in a really big way, okay? For those of you who were able to see my IG live on the moon, then you know a little bit about my own experience, right? And my own realization of illusions and truths being revealed, and the transition moments I'm going through currently. And so watch that video if you need a little bit more of that fire, of that passion, of that awareness to move forward despite change, and to do what you're called to do no matter what. To be that warrior of light, to be that spirited energy. I'm wearing my Warrior Woman shirt. Shout out to Candy Wheeler, my dear, dear sister. So yeah, we are warrior womaning, warrior manning up, okay? Warrioring up right now. So use that trust and faith. And it says truth and integrity. Spirit is just bringing this in. The truth and integrity. You're following your truth, and you're following through with it with that integrity. The truth over the illusion. And then you're walking on the trust, the faith, and the hope and the intention from that point forward to get you where you need to be. It is a hard path. It is a warrior path, but it is a path that has huge reward. Huge reward. Because this is a spiritual war. It's not a physical war. There are physical decisions that have to be made and physical results of the war. But a lot of the war itself is spiritual, energetic, intuitive. And the benefits when you're working with that kind of energy is that when you win the war, you get all the abundance and connection that you've asked for. And you get your truth. And that frees you into the best possible scenario for you. So this is a powerful thing. We're honoring the truth that comes up and we're following through with it with faith, trust, hope, and intention. Now the next message, one of the second to last messages before astrology, is wash it away. Wash it away. What are we washing away? You want to take a guess? Ask yourself, what do you feel like you need to wash away right now? Before I even get into the message, let's test your intuition. Let's feel into your own intuitive guidance. What are we washing away this week? Go ahead and comment. Let me know. What does it feel like? I like this idea of kind of testing your intuition because I want to make sure that you all are doing the work to keep your intuitive guidance strong, because it is our most innate survival skill and it's becoming more and more crucial for our survival. And so as the vessel that brings you these messages every week, I really want to make sure that you're all tapping in to your own intuition throughout these readings. And that you're tapping into your own intuition throughout your week. Second guessing your magic. Washing away second guessing your magic. Ooh, I love that. Washing away bad thoughts. Yes. What else are we washing away? Using your own intuition, letting your guides, letting your source, letting your heart tell you what you need to wash away this week. Right? Washing away the boogies, yeah. There is a lot of sinus stuff going on. Yeah. And that is really the mucus in the body that is really causing disease. Mucus causes disease, dis-ease, right? In the body. Beautiful. Washing away procrastination. Beautiful. So honoring these messages that you're already getting from your guides, these are things that you're feeling in your heart, called to do. The first thing that pops into your head, the first thing that pops into your heart on what you're meant to wash away this week, that is your intuition telling you that truth and showing you the illusions that maybe you've been holding on to that have been keeping you from seeing that truth. Maybe you've been telling yourself, you know what, it's cool that I procrastinate. It's actually great for me. Maybe you've been telling yourself, the sinuses will clear up on their own. I don't need to do any work to wash those away, right? The bad thoughts, they're not that intense. They're not affecting me that much. It's fine, right? No, it's not fine. Because your spirit is saying, wash that ish away. Wash it away this week. Washing away stress, washing away doubt, washing away fear, washing away heavy energy. Yeah. That's what we have to wash away. And how do we wash it away? With love, with intention, with faith that it can be cleaned, that it can be cleared, and with consistent discipline and focus. It takes a force to create change. I talked about that last week too. What kind of force are you going to put behind yourself, behind the energy? What kind of action or force are you going to put into your energy, into your heart to help you have the motivation to wash those things that you just listed off away? And sometimes it's recognizing the why. Why do you need to wash those things away? How are they affecting your life? How are they affecting your quality of life? And why do you think that's okay to keep procrastinating on? Why do you think it's okay to keep those bad thoughts around, knowing how they affect you? Is it a self-worth problem? Is it an insecurity problem? Is it a feeling of just not knowing how? Well, guess what? You can learn how. Google, YouTube, get a reading, get some coaching, listen to this reading a couple times, meditate on it. Learn new information. Let go of the deception that you're telling yourself that keeps you from doing the work, or the deception that the world is telling you that keeps you from seeing the truth and following through with that. All right? Powerful stuff. Let's see what the guides have to say on this. And then we've got one more little message. There's also this kind of guidance that I was called to share as well to help wash things away in a very energetic but also physical way. Take a spiritual bath. Okay? An energetic bath. A spiritual bath is where we're actually getting in the bathtub. We put some crystals around the bathtub. We've put some oils around in the bathtub. Water. We've put some intentions into the energy of the water. We've maybe put some specific bath salts that help to aid the intention we have. And we literally bathe ourselves in that intention. We bathe ourselves in that light. We bathe ourselves in that energy, in that aroma. And then we feel that water influencing the water of our body, the 70% water in our body, and influencing our emotions, our water aspects of self. And that cleanses us and attunes us to the intention that we put in our bath. Another great way of washing things away is taking an energy bath. Just imagining, you don't have to get in the tub or anything. Just imagine, I can do it right now. We can do it together. Imagining energy, the light of source, flowing down over our bodies and cleansing us of our illusions, of our delusions, of our bad thoughts, of our procrastinations, of our lacks of trust, of our fears, of our doubts, of our judgments, right? Cleansing us of our doubt. And we can feel it happening. Some of you will get a little tingling sensation. Some of you will feel just a lighter heart. Some of you will feel a buzzing or a deep sense of peace. That's it working for you. Another kind of wash it away energy I'm picking up on as a intervention is a float therapy tank. There's a lot of those out there, and those really help to wash away tension in the body, to help you feel completely suspended in water, and to really help you feel weightless from any heavy energy you've been feeling. Check out float therapy. See if there's one near you. It's worth it. Trust me, it's beautiful. Love it. I'm going to try to do one for myself this week. Okay? This is how we wash away. And then Spirit gives us exactly what we just talked about. Trust as an additional guidance in washing away those things. Trust that they can be released. Trust that they can be washed away. And trust the way that your intuition is guiding you to wash those things away. And trust that if you can really stay consistent and disciplined in doing the work to make that a habit and to clear it completely, that your quality of life will be so abundant. And it'll be so worth it. That's your why. Let that be your force that creates the change. All right, y'all. Last message I have before we get into the astrology, and then I'm going to share a really exciting announcement. The next message is space trips. Space trips. What am I talking about? Well, the first official space trip is happening today. I think it already happened. I'm going to check in on the result of it in just a little bit. Branson, I think it's Richard or Robert Branson, has a space shuttle that has gone to the edge of space today, that was scheduled to go to the edge of space today. And it's the first space trip of many. They just happened to do it first. They are, I can't remember the name. I'll have to share the article in the description, so I'll do that for you all. I can't remember the name, but it's Branson. And then Bezos has one, which is like I think it's called Blue Orbit or something like that. And then Elon Musk has SpaceX. All three of these companies, or, billionaires, powers that be, they are taking people to the edge of space. And they're actually commercializing it making it a travel opportunity where you can buy it like you would buy an airline ticket. They have an actual space airline now. 3 of them, all competing for being the best or the most popular. Richard Branson, thank you so much, Jasmine. Being the best or most popular vessels or entities to take you to the edge of space. Now, I think it's pretty interesting that Musk and Bezos are into this. I haven't done a lot of research on Richard Branson, but I do know that Bezos and Musk have some duality and some illusions in their energy, for sure. They definitely have some hidden truths. And I think it's interesting that they're doing all of this work with space, and they're doing all of these kind of tests on taking people to space, and they're doing a lot of work with space stuff that they're not really disclosing. And we're going to learn more about this. I think there's going to be some hidden truths revealed on the intentions behind these space travels, on who they plan to take there and why, on what, okay, Branson owns Virgin Airlines. Yeah, that's why because I remember it was like Virgin something, Virgin Space something. So yeah, really understanding why they're doing this, what they're doing with it, who they're taking up there. I think it's cool to some degree to be able to go to the edge of the space. How fun would that be, right? That little inner child of us getting all excited and adventurous and curious about it. And it's good to stay curious. But also, let's not ignore how these people are connected to other things and what other intentions or agendas may be there. And let's do some digging. Let's do some truth seeking. Let's do it together. Let's see what we come up with. I encourage you to do some research. Let's see what the intentions are behind this stuff. Because I got a really deep message from the Pleiadians in a channeled message that I'm going to announce about at the end of this reading in just a little bit, that is going to give us a little bit more insight about discernment with the work that a lot of these government and media and science experts are doing with that energy, giving us an idea of what is really going on here and how do we discern what's really happening and why. Okay, so just something to pay attention to. I also did a Starseed Saturday on my virtual diary page, my OF. So the link is in the description always for that. My virtual diary page is really great for you to be able to connect to the Starseed Saturday meditations, the cosmic activations that I do every single week, every Saturday, as well as the content that I release in Mini Reading Monday, where I take these hour-long readings and condense them down into 10 minutes of digestible information for your week to remember what you went, what we focused on today. And I've got Shadow Work series coming back soon on my virtual diary page. I've also got some new collaborations I'm going to be doing on my virtual diary page. I've also got my Own Your Own Story series that is all about how I became the intuitive I am, and the childhood experiences that I had that kind of led me to this as well, and showed me that this was my gift from a very early point in life. Super fun to listen to those. So lots of things to catch on my virtual diary page. I'm also doing, of course, a ton of BTS sharing and exclusive releases of my Hippie Vixen album videos and things like that. And I am going to go ahead and release Hippie Vixen, the first music video of my new album. I'm going to release it on, I'm going to tell you at the end of this reading. Ha! But there's also more announcements too. So give me a second. Let's get through these astrology messages real quick. I want to pull a Angels of Atlantis card real quick just for that space message, because I'm just curious if the Angels of Atlantis and the space activated energies of this deck want to give us a little clue into some of that. Ooh, I got 2. Willpower and faith. Willpower and faith. So we have the opportunity to use our own willpower and faith to transmute any negative intentions or misaligned intentions that these people may have to travel to space. We can use this as an educational thing. We can use this as a fun thing to do, but we have to have the willpower and the faith to create it as such, to push through any of the intentions they may have. And I'm also getting that they have a certain willpower and faith within them on why they're doing this. And so, it's important to notice that, there's actually a scripture I wanted to share about this. And the scripture is All persons' ways may seem pure to them. And that's in Proverbs. I think it's chapter 16. I know it's not verse 9, but it's somewhere around there. All persons' ways seem pure to them, but God weighs their motives. And so we recognize that even if there's negative intentions or delusions or illusions that we see in others or see in certain experiences or projects or things like this, their intentions may be pure to them. They're doing it for pure ways in their heart. Oftentimes, they think what they're doing is pure. But when you look at the bigger perspective and you kind of weigh in on the way in which Source guides us in values, morals, and authenticity, we may see that Source weighs it differently. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. The verdict's out on that. We'll see. All right. Astrology, and then we're going to do some announcements and we'll be out of here. Thanks for being patient. I know I've been a little slow with these messages, but it's necessary. Sometimes Spirit really guides me to pause and take my time and really listen to what it's calling me to say, because words are very, very important. And sometimes pauses and silence are also important to help us all reflect and really integrate these messages. All right, astrology. So right now we are integrating the Cancer new moon from Friday. And that was a really emotional moon. It was a very deep energy moon, intense moon. There was some passionate energies in the depths of emotions of that moon that were activated and integrated. There's a lot of healing from that moon that we're integrating. There's a lot of change that we're stepping into and starting to really just align to new paths from the unexpected changes in all the retrogrades, the Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Neptune retrograde. Ugh! And we got more, okay? So integrating that Cancer new moon, honoring the water element of your being, honoring your emotions, honoring the passionate aspects of those, and really being able to filter through what is true, what is illusionary, or what is delusionary, okay? And integrating everything else from there. Now today we have Mercury in Cancer, trining Jupiter in Pisces. So Mercury in Cancer helping us to express our emotions more, and Jupiter in Pisces kind of expanding our emotional depths. And so this is actually going to bring us an energy of a little bit of deeper awareness of our emotional body, of the ways we are triggered, of the ways we are emotionally influenced, and the ways in which we let those emotional influences influence our life. Okay? So let yourself recognize that, but don't act too much on your emotion until you know for sure that that's the true emotion that you're meant to act on, that that's the truest emotion that feels most aligned to your highest good to act on. Because Jupiter is expanding those emotional expressions, and Jupiter's in retrograde. Okay, so we can't really trust Jupiter all the way right now to bring us benefit or positive experience. Jupiter's actually kind of messing with our emotions right now. So pay attention to what feels most real and most aligned to you and best to you to express emotionally, okay? And keep the other emotions that aren't really aligned to your goals and desires, keep them tamed, okay? Now on Wednesday, this is a big one. Pallas Athena, the asteroid, is going retrograde in Pisces. And Pallas Athena, if you know anything about the story of Pallas Athena, she's the daughter of Jupiter. And she's the goddess of war and wisdom and strategy and skill. She tempers instinct with reason. Okay? And so she has this deep awareness of her instinct, but she also has reason and strategy and skill on her side. And she's going retrograde, which means she's kind of pulling back. So we may not feel as strategic or skilled in our temperament with reason. And so we need to pay attention to that. We need to purposely and deliberately allow the balance of reason and intuition on Wednesday. And it may feel a little uncomfortable. We may feel a little insecure. We may get a little frustrated because we may feel a little confused on how to strategize based on the right reason. But this is why this week's energy is the way it is. It's here to filter through illusion. So take your time, be patient, don't act until you know what is true and what is not. Okay? And if anyone tries to force you or rush you into choice, then that's something to pay attention to as well, okay? That's got some hidden truths, some real color showing through on that. Thursday, we have the Sun in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces. Remember, Neptune is in retrograde. And so we've got 3 retrograde planets in Pisces. Pisces is a sign for kind of surfacing emotion. Pisces tend to kind of hide their emotion or try to work on it themselves, but then it kind of oozes out of them eventually in kind of different ways, interesting ways. And so with all these retrograde planets in Pisces, we're recognizing that there's a little bit of resistance to letting emotions surface and really acting on them. So we have to really work through that. We have to push ourselves through facing the emotions, acting on what we find is true, and not ignoring that, okay? Even if it's uncomfortable. So that Sun in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces, this is actually going to give us a little nurturance because that Sun in Cancer kind of allows for a deeper connection to those emotions. And we're going to feel some compassion, some sympathy, some protection on our side to help us through finding and seeing clearly the illusions, okay? And then Chiron actually goes retrograde that day in Aries. I told you there was more retrogrades. So now we have Saturn, tough love lessons, Pluto, letting go, and being okay with it. We've got Jupiter, unexpected changes. We've got Neptune, harsh realities being shown. We've got Pallas Athena, really showing us discomfort and insecurity so that we can really step into more strategy and skill in that. And then we've got now Chiron going retrograde in Aries, which is fierce with that fiery Aries energy, fierce healing and self-love, okay? Fierce healing and self-love. So the self-love required for the fierce healing that is happening. Big energy, okay? So this week is still going to be pretty intense, y'all, but it's going to be probably a little bit, well, some of you had a harder week last week and will have a tiny bit of an easier week this week, but some of you will have a harder week this week and had an easier week last week. It's going to kind of go back and forth. The last thing I want to make clear about the astrology of this week, 7/17, lots of sevens, okay? That's going to happen on Saturday. Number 7 is all about spiritual growth and expansion and really honoring that and being able to feel it fully. So through everything we go through this week, by Saturday, we should start to feel some rising up out of the depths of confusion or complexity and starting to see more of our spiritual expansiveness and wisdom, consciousness, intuition, and so forth. Now, the Sun is in Cancer opposite Pluto in Capricorn that day, so it's going to be important for us to not let our emotions or any jealous habits block our blessings, because we have that 717 energy and 2021, so we've got that 21 being 3 more 7s to tap into. So we have a lot of blessings, a lot of spiritual blessings, spiritual abundance, okay, which is really kind of those aha moments and that kind of clarity and that trust and that feeling of being connected that we've been asking for, that stay connectedness really showing up for us. But if we let our emotions that are not real, our illusionary emotions or our unaligned emotions like jealousy or greed get in the way of our hearts, then we're going to block those blessings of spiritual expansion, okay? So don't block your blessings, all right? I'm going to pull a quick card for just some of that astrological influence, just asking Spirit, okay, with everything being said, with astrology and all the ways it's shifting right now, what do we need to really know or focus on? Strength. We're going to need strength with all these astrological influences. So where are your strengths? What are your strengths? Where do you see your strengths showing up for you most and in what experiences? And how can you start to bring your strengths deeper into your experiences for the purpose of getting you through these astrological influences and the energy of this week? Being strong and standing your ground, strong and standing in your power, strong and trusting that you are divinely protected, strong and honoring the uncomfortability of taking humble pie and taking it anyway. Strong in being disciplined and consistent in your staying connectedness. Strong as you step into faith, trust, hope, and intention as you walk on air and water. Strong in washing away the things that you know you need to wash away. Okay? Wow. Powerful stuff. Let's pull 3 more cards for the final energies, the summary of this week, and I am going to use one of the cards, actually the beginning of the week card, with my new little deck. It's so cute! Check it out. Dragon Magic. I talked on IG Live on Friday for the moon. IG at Readings by Rissa, by the way. I did an IG Live all about the Cancer new moon. We're still integrating that, so you can still watch that, and it will still definitely be of service to you. And I talked a lot about the fire energies that we're experiencing and the importance of honing in our fire, our masculine and feminine fire, and even our inner child fire of curiosity and fun and exhilaration. And so the dragon cards are really helpful in activating our protection, our fire, and feeling really guided in that. And so we got the Dragon Sense card, which I love. And it says, you are intuitive, human child. You can connect with realms in between and beyond your world. We dragons can heighten and sharpen your natural intuition. Breathe in and feel your every sense awaken and expand. So the dragons are heightening our intuition to help us see through the illusions and delusions of our experience. Yay, we love that. Thank you, dragon energy. I'm going to do our middle of the week card actually as our spirit totem, animal totem energy. What animal energy are we meant to really, really integrate into for us to move through our week with ease? Ooh, prosperity, the frog. I love this card. Look how beautiful and vibrant. Prosperity. So we want to focus on prosperity like the frog. We want to be like the frog and be prosperous. It says, let go of the past and embrace change. Opportunities are close at hand. Hop into this new day with joy. Abundance and good fortune await you. Okay? So with our dragon sense, our intuitive energy expanding, helping us to see through illusions and confusions and delusions, we then are able to step into that trust and being divinely protected and divinely prosperous. And then let's see what we got for the end of the week. What cards do you want, babes? Okay, we're going to do a shadow work card, one more of these. End of the week. That one came up pretty quickly. Accountability. At the end of the week, we have to be accountable. I think this card came up recently too. I think it came up last week or the week before. A very powerful card. We've got to be accountable for our, I think it was last week, for our 5D self is what we talked about. And then also accountable for owning the truth that we see, claiming the truth that we see, standing in our power, standing our ground, being in that disciplined and consistent connectedness, being accountable for how we stay connected, okay? It says responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and others. By being accountable, you are loving yourself. By holding other people accountable, you are sending love to them. You are loving them. That is a loving gesture, okay? So don't feel bad when you have to hold somebody accountable for owning truth or being truthful. Don't feel bad when you're having to hold accountability for people to heal or to walk their divine path. That's an act of love, and if they're resistant to that, that's okay. At least you're maybe planting a seed or opening the door. Or maybe your energy and your influence is giving them a little bit more of that why, that reason, that fire, that force for change, eventually. But that's all we can do. We can't do it for them. We can't do the work for them, okay? And I can't do the work for you. Your higher self can't do the work for you, so you've got to be accountable. You've got to be accountable for what you need to do to move through your path in the best way and highest light, okay? Last thing I want to mention is the announcement I have right after I post this live. Guess what? I am going to be posting, and it actually may even come through before this live all the way uploads, but I am going to be posting my full clip of the Pleiadian messages that were channeled through me during my BQH session with the lovely Quantum Guide. She has a beautiful YouTube channel, and she's actually one of my dearest star sisters. We've known each other for years. And she just started her YouTube channel recently, and she does amazing BQH sessions of hypnotherapy and quantum healing. And it takes you into trance, and it allows your subconscious and your own channeling abilities to surface. And so then you are able to really kind of explore past lives and also any other messages that your guides want you to have. It's a very cool process. It's very fun. It's a longer kind of reading, but it's so fun. Definitely longer than the past life readings that I offer, but just as impactful, if not more. And so these sessions have really shown me and her, at least in our work together, the power of the channel that comes through when I'm taken into trance. And so I've been able to get a lot of messages from the galactics about the mass collective. And so right after this reading, I'm going to be posting the full clip of one of our parts of our session. We're going to be posting a lot more parts of the session because we had a lot of guides come through in this last one that I did. I think it was like a 6-hour session or something. But we're going to be posting a lot more clips. But today we're posting the Pleiadian messages, and it's all about the Galactic Federation. I'm posting part 2 of the message, and the Quantum Guide is posting part 1. So her post is probably already up right now, and you can go watch that on her channel at the Quantum Guide on YouTube. And then when you're done watching that, hop back on over here, and I will have posted part 2 of the Pleiadian message so you can finish up watching it on my channel. And then let us know what you think in the comments on both parts. What parts of each part did you really find most fascinating and most beneficial for you? Because the Pleiadians were talking a lot about some really powerful information that we all need to understand. A lot of discernment, a lot of illusions and delusions being revealed, a lot of truth surfacing in the mass collective with this energy and the disclosure of cosmic disclosure and energy around that. So if you're into starseed stuff, if you're into Pleiadian messages, if you're into channeling, if you're into hypnotherapy, if you're into just learning new information from galactic guides, go check that out at the Quantum Guide on YouTube for part 1, and then I'll have part 2 up in just a moment after I upload this video, and I will post it right after that. And there will be many more clips to be shared. Make sure you're following me on TikTok as well, Rissa Vibes on TikTok, because I've been posting little sneak peeks of those messages. Also check out my Instagram at Readings by Rissa. Check out that live reading I did for the Cancer New Moon. It's still relevant today. And let me know before you go how these messages served you, how they resonated with you, how you're feeling now. And I'll be doing a mini reading Monday to cover all of these messages tomorrow for a quick short clip on my virtual diary page as well, so that you can buzz through those really quickly. I love you so much. Thank you for tapping in, and I will see you next time. Peace. Oh, appreciate you all too. Good to see you, Quantum Guide. Check her out, y'all. She's right there. You can click on her page right now and go check out that part 1. It is so powerful. Part 2 is coming up next. Yay, so glad the messages resonated, Renika. I'm so glad to be of service. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week. Thank you for your patience on my set right now. I am in transition, moving from one place to the next. So bear with me on the set and the quality of the set and the video and all of that. I'm not using my camera right now, but I'm hoping I'll have it up and running and everything up and running again to make it look a little bit more presentable next week. But thank you so much for all that love. Bye.